YouTube land, what's going on? It's your girl Makara. So listen, I want to chat it up and bust it up and break it down with the men right now. So man, I want to ask y'all, right? What do y'all think about these women gurus that's running these social media platforms like Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook, to TikTok? Like, what do you think about these lady gurus giving information to other women all over the world on social media about how to handle their household, like how to handle their affairs, like to handle their men? And I want to do this because I was watching, I was cooking dinner and drinking wine, right? And just listening to had my Bluetooth on, listening to these women gurus. And so they always speaking in a perspective of like how the man's supposed to be paying 100% of the bills and the woman's supposed to be putting her money in the bank and she should be able to stay home and this and that and this and that. Personally, me, there's levels to this. And the women gurus that I see speaking right on these platforms are women that's dealing with six-figure men or somewhere in that bracket or something that can allow them to get on here to teach these women that the men should be 100% capable of paying the bills. Because most men that I meet, that I'm a regular woman, so most men that I meet in my regular everyday life are men, that's making like 40 or 50,000 a year. You might look up and find some making 70 to 75 a year, but this is just for regular people. But it looks like to me these women on these platforms are speaking, from experience of guys that really, really have money that can store these women away, telling them like what they man's supposed to be paying. And to a certain extent, I feel like it's ruining our women, because regular everyday women can't find no man like that. Most men gonna work in a regular warehouse, where they making at the max $20 to $25 an hour, and they lucky to be making that. That's just being a regular woman that I know of. And when child support come up off their ass and this and that, and tickets for unparked this and DUIs and this, that, and the other, plus bills and taking care of her and this and that, they really done dwindle down to a $40,000 a year man, or you get where I'm going with this or whatever. And so I was watching this video where this woman, right, out of nowhere, she up and quit her job, and she didn't talk to her husband about it or nothing. She just came home and told no, her husband asked her what was wrong with her, because she quit her job, and she told her husband that she was tired of paying the bills. Like, he's supposed to be paying 100% of the bills. She's supposed to be at home on the computer, and she's supposed to be taking care of the house, and she's supposed to be taking care of the kids. And he telling her, no, you need to get a job because we both supposed to be helping out each other. And so she was saying she wasn't getting a job, and then he was saying, he said something about, I don't know what he said, but she said that she had, you don't know what I got saved up. He said, oh, what you got saved up? We saving up now, huh? Or whatever. So I was just wondering what y'all think. Like, are these women speaking from a higher perspective of men that's in a higher tax bracket, and the regular women like me, like, supposed to be listening to this? Because I'm fair with, somebody meeting me, half, 50-50. But even in relationships that I've been in, like, I'm like Michelle Obama. There was never 50-50. And she's a Capricorn. She's a black woman. She's a Capricorn. Even in the relationships that I've been in, there was never 50-50. Somebody was lacking on something. They put something in, but it didn't meet me to 50. So I was just wondering what y'all think about this, because with me, some help is better than no help. Like, if a man come along, he can help me with half my bills, and we can both afford to put money in the bank because we meeting each other halfway. That would be cool with me. And I say this because I speak from a reality realm about this. Like, this is a prime example. I believe both people should be working because you never know what could happen. Like your partner could fall victim and fall sick out of nowhere. He could come home and get fired out of nowhere. Then what y'all gonna do? If you ain't at home using your computer to draw multiple incomes. If he come home and say he lost his job and you a Facebook creator, which most of these people are, YouTube creator or Instagram creator, and you drawing in checks where you could tell them, okay, babe, well, I tell you what, just find something else. A lot of people ain't in that situation, and so I believe in both people working because somebody could fall sick. Now, this is a story that I observed before. I've always had apartments everywhere I lived in every state. I've always had apartments because I just knew I wasn't going to be there long and my credit was jacked up. I never did buy a house because I knew a house meant that I was rooted somewhere and I wasn't for sure if I wanted to be rooted. So there's this particular time, right? I move into this apartment and I'm upstairs and my neighbors are downstairs. But the walls were paper thin. You could hear everything going on. So it was a couple, a man and a woman. And the woman was paying all the bills. She was the one going to work. And the man was staying home. Him and the chihuahua. Him and the little dog. Okay, so when I first seen it, I was like, well, everybody, got their business set up, how they set up, whatever. They got to understand it. She cool with that. She let him and the dog stay home all day long while she go to work and she, be the breadwinner and she hunt the meal and catch the kill and bring it home and keep the bills turning, so be it. But the walls in the apartment were so thin that I had met her once and we talked and she seemed like a decent lady. Well, I couldn't help to notice because the walls was thin, she was a sickly woman. And this would only happen at night. Like I would try to sleep. I don't know if she had bronchitis and asthma or something, but at night she would cough so hard like her lungs was collapsing. And she would be wheezing and choking for air and this and that. And you could hear her. Through my walls, you could actually hear all the phlegm coming up through her throat. Like I could hear it all. And this happened at night. Every time she would lay down and go to bed, I never heard nothing. Like I would hear when she come home from work, I would hear, music downstairs. I guess he would be cooking dinner and he had music going when she would come in or something. And it would be a good time. But every time it was nightfall, time to go to bed, this woman's body would start hacking up and coughing up and acting up. And so it was so bad, she would keep me up upstairs. She would keep me up. I couldn't go to sleep because of all this wheezing throughout the night and spitting up. She could never get to a comfortable spot. And she would get up early in the morning and go to work. And this man, I'm going to work later on that day, so I know what's pretty much going on. This woman, this sickly woman out here working, paying all the bills. This man would get out, him and the chihuahua would go walking around the corner. He had flowers that he had potted on the patio, and one day he downstairs with the little water thing, he watering the things, and next thing you know, he grabbed the chihuahua and they on the run again, walking in the apartment complexes. And I'm thinking to myself, come on, man. Come on! So this woman did this the whole time I was there. Well, it comes a time, right, throughout she gets so sick that she has to quit her job. She's that sick. And this man just having his way at home. And I remember I could hear the phone calls like when she had to call and quit her job. And then next, a couple of nights later, I hear her because she knows she ain't going to have no more money for rent. She know when her last check is or whatever. She's calling family members to try to see if there's somewhere that her and her husband can come until she can find another job or she could get on her feet or whatever the deal was or whatever. So all these family members, they, I guess, making up excuses. I can hear what I can hear, so I'm about with them. So most of them making up excuses, and finally she called somebody a family member where it was okay and they could come. So after a while, they start packing up. I knew what was going on, but you don't get in people's business or whatever. So, they was packing up, and I mostly saw her. She only drove this little small compact car, and I mostly saw her packing everything up, putting stuff in, and him and the Chihuahua, they walking, and it was a mess. It was just like he didn't have any ambition like to get up and say, okay, baby, you sick, you been holding us down all this time, I'm gonna get up and find a job or nothing. Like I had talked to her one time before, and in this talk we got a lot in it, and she claimed he had some type of disability. But what type of disability is this that he can walk the dog and he can water the plants, and he could play music, and he could cook dinner, he can go walk to the store or liquor store and come back with wine and this and that? Like, what kind of sickness is this? Because it can't be no more sicker than this sickness that I've been hearing you go through at night. So it was a big old mess. You just never know what can happen. It two incomes is better, because somebody gonna have to keep the money turning. Anything could happen, and ain't nobody got no money turning. It's better than one to have something to fall back on than not having nothing to fall back on. But it was just the fact that it was so disgusting, because that man didn't take no type of accountability. I don't even know if they married to this day, because I end up moving or whatever. But they end up moving, and then I got new neighbors in, that was worse or whatever, and it was just a big mess. So what do y'all men think about this? Do you think this is right, what these ladies, are teaching? And it's a shame that these women are listening. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this woman quit her job and said that her husband going to take care of all the bills, and she tired of working. She not doing it no more. She shouldn't have to. And do y'all agree with that? I don't know what's going on or what I'm getting to, but tell me what y'all think about this. Like, is the women gurus, like, I listen to them, but they can't tell me nothing, because the type of men they dating, and you can tell like they in a higher place when I watch their content that they create. They in Mercedes or they in Range Rovers, and they got these $1,500, weaves on, and they got the glasses, so they sitting good, and plus they in these major cities, So I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers have their stuff together than most in most states. But like where I'm at, if these men are around here, they already taken. And like I said, after a while, you get into a tax bracket. It's either warehouse energy bracket, tax bracket, or it's geek and nerds, or, owning some construction company or something like that. But it's so limited on black men around here, like having that type of stuff. There are some, but like I said, they taken. So, like, I think women need to take an accountability, like, before they listen to some of these women gurus, like the net worth that they even messing with. Like, what is your husband's net worth? What is his value? Like, does his check even allow you to do some of these things that some of these women talking about that's in a higher tax bracket than them, and they boyfriends that they mess with is in a higher tax bracket than them? When you take people's net worth into consideration, or what they make, their yearly bracket, you have to break that up and chop that down and put that in a scope that fits you, because at this point you asking a man to go into his supernatural powers, and he ain't even making that type of income. Like, that ain't even gonna happen. Like, he would have to be making a pretty good amount of penny for you to be able to stay at home comfortably. Like I said, there is some that stay at home, but they own their computers, they generate money, they working from home. But for a woman just to want to be around the house, and not do nothing, and just be Princess Diana and forget her slipper and make sure it's back on at 8, or she gonna turn into pumpkins at 12 if she don't have them on. Like, that's kind of rough in today's day. And you got to keep in mind too, black men never did get a fair shot at some of these jobs that, you know, that they oppositions have. So I don't know. I don't even know where I went with that. Just, I don't know.